Welcome to the first episode of NVR-LAND SUCCESS STORIES. NVR-LAND is a mindset and a platform to inspire those who seek inspiration, to motivate people to never give up, and to encourage people to dream, and to drive people to better themselves. So today we're sat with Alex from MAVRO.
What's good, bro?
What's going on? Tell us a bit about what you do.
So I run a content creation company. We pretty much deliver content for anyone, but we're mostly focused on the music industry, and particularly in the US. Aside from that, me personally, I also co-produce a love, sex and relationships talk show. And I have recently got back into making music.
So hang on. So first of all, I'm going to say the sex. Explain to me what made you do that.
The talk shows was something I always wanted to do. So I knew at some point MAVRO would take that step to get into podcasting, TV, kind of that type of stuff. I think for me, ever since I was young, I've always had a really open relationship with, in particular, my mum. Okay. So we talk about absolutely everything. And I would grow up seeing that a lot of my friends weren't able to have certain conversations pertaining to relationships and sex. And I noticed that was still the case in people that were like in their mid-30s. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was also aware that obviously love, sex and relationships is something that people just talk about all the time in their natural life. But I wanted to try and put together a show that would bring a group of people together that wouldn't usually have these conversations in one room, in the hopes that the viewer and the people actually a part of the show will either learn or will have their minds be open to, I guess, getting rid of the stigma behind a lot of these taboo subjects.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. As well as that, obviously that's an interesting side of you, but also you've worked with so many people in the industry. Obviously I know quite a few of them. If you could just name a few, just so.
I'd probably say the most recognizable ones would probably be we've done some animations for Kendrick, for Young Doug, for Khaled, Fabulous. We've done a lot of work for Rock Nation just in general.
The big people, you know. This is not it's not small time.
Yeah. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
It's crazy because I remember when we first spoke about MAVRO years ago. That's part of the reason why I actually wanted to interview you, because it was like it's inspiring for me, but it's also like I know for a fact that your story will be interesting and inspiring for other people as well. So I think it's vital that people can hear what you the things you went through to get to where you are. Massively respect the fact that you had a dream. Appreciate you went with it. It took a while, but you bloody got there. And today, you've got everything to show for it. You've got a lot of things on the wall.
Yeah, man.
You can't see
a lot more that still need to be. Do you know what I mean? Needs to be done. But yeah, nice.
But I think these things come with time, and also just knowing that you have your goal, you've had your goal, and you know where you want to get to, and nothing can deviate you from that, which is obviously a massive thing. So some of them names, and one of those names in particular really makes me think, well, MAVRO is not messing about, is Kendrick. So how the hell did that happen?
Specifically the Kendrick one, or how we kind of necessarily got to a place of that even being a possibility? I think
I'll say the Kendrick one first, but I actually want to know.
Okay, cool. So particularly with the Kendrick one, when Rock Nation reached out to us to work on...
Stop. Rock Nation reached out to you. Is that what you're on? What? Is that what you're on?
Yeah, bro. It was... I can't... Bro, those moments, I would treasure for the rest of my life, fam. Like, fam, we're in a fucking... me and Ed were working in his bedroom at his mum's yard, literally like where we're at now, little desk, little computer, nothing, bro. When we're getting these emails, we're like, fam, bro, like this is wild, They reached out to us to asking whether or not that if we did animations. Animations was something we'd never done before. We shot maybe a couple music videos or whatever, but animations was so beyond the realm. But of course, in those moments, we were just like, yeah, cool. Yeah, we've done it before. Like, we know what we're doing. They're like, all right, cool. Can you send us over a snippet? So me and Ed literally just YouTubed the shit out of how to make animations for like 2 days, sent them over a snippet. Before they even responded to that, they were like, oh, do you know what? Fuck it. There's a Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody song. Can you guys do a snippet for that? So we're like, Busta, like, do you know what I mean? This is mad. I was like, what? That's mad. So yeah, cool. We put together a little, it was like a minute animation at the time, and it took us like 2 weeks. We sent that over to them. Didn't hear nothing for a few weeks. Again, we're thinking, this is trash, bro. Like, we've got nothing to compare it to. Like, this is terrible. And then they finally reached out and was like, we actually played it to the entire office. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I know who's in those offices. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was mind blowing. And they were like, cool. We actually want you to work on we do all the animations for the entire project. So we were like, sick. So
man, you're saying sick. You didn't say sick. What did you do? Because you must have.
When at first, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. When they said that, it was very subdued because at first I was like, well, first of all, we're shitting ourselves because we don't know how to do animations really and truly. How quickly are they gonna need it? What's the money? What's like all of these type of things? So they eventually told us all the information and we were like, okay, cool. At the time, we thought it was a great deal. In hindsight, it was absolutely terrible. But we were like, all right, cool, we'll do it. I didn't even know who Rhapsody was at the time. I just knew that one feature was Buster. So I was like, cool. Literally how they had it was like number 1 to 8, and it was the song name. And then there was another list that was number 1 to 8 with who the artist was featured. So we didn't know. And they sent these 2 emails 1 week apart. So we received the song names. We were like, okay, cool, this means nothing to us. And then we received the list of, and she had mad artists on this project. And I remember I was in his bedroom. I was like, cool, I'm going to read out the song name. You read me out who the artist is in it, yeah? I'm sat down on my chair and it stood up in the room, bro, yeah? So I'm like reading out. I'm like, yeah, cool, Anderson .Paak. I was like, oh, that's sick, yeah, cool, whatever. Busta Rhymes we already knew about. There were so many people on that project. But then I was like, oh, we're doing some Power. And it was like, it's Kendrick, bro. Swear down, yeah, he fell down. Like, he collapsed, bro. Like, literally collapsed, bro. Like, we were both, like, in shock, fam. Like, not even that it was Kendrick, but Kendrick's one of those people that's, like, mad selective about who he works with. Yeah. I didn't really know anyone out of the UK that had done anything even closely to, like, TDE or any of their camp. It was, like, beyond... fathomable. Like, that's pretty much how that came about, bro.
That is mad.
In particular. But in terms of, I know you said you wanted to know a little bit about how it all kind of necessarily came about. I just remember I said to my mum, I was like, yo, I feel like I just need to go to the States for like 3 months and just see what the hell I can like figure out. I didn't know anybody. It was literally just like off whim. I'm just going to get an Airbnb and fuck it. And then, so I went there, did all that I could to network and get to know people. And then it became this thing that every year for like 3 months, I would spend my summers in New York performing, networking, just going to different events. And it wasn't until 5 years later where one of the people that I'd met in the first year just started working at Rock Nation was like, oh, yo, I know you guys kind of do this type of stuff. Yeah, bruv. Like I was at uni. My uni dissertation project was to come up with a business idea. So I had MAVRO as an idea. That summer I went to New York and I said to him, I was like, oh bro, I've got this like kind of like thing if you guys need some people, like I don't even know. And then 3 months later he hit me back and boom, shit was just went from there.
Well, networking is
everything.
Key. Relationships, networking is everything. Every artist I've worked with, I tell them the same thing. Events, you must go to these events, you must speak to people. You don't, not even in a using tip, but it's like, this does sound like they're using.
It is. Let's not skim past it, yeah? Everyone knows. The dude that's on the panel, for example, when you go to these things, he knows everyone in this room wants to either be me or wants to have connections with me. So he knows when you're going up to him, I don't want to be friends with you, bro. I want you to help me put me on. Do you get what I mean? But when you have that mutual respect where you know, like I can provide you with something that you don't have and you can put me on, you skip over all the other, do you know what I mean? Bullshit. The thing that kind of takes it from just that initial interaction is the maintaining of relationships. It's easy to meet people, but a lot of people don't. Honestly, it's just the time. Don't spend the time to like check it. You know what I mean? Give them a Christmas message. Find out when their birthdays are. Like, do all these little things so they feel like you're making some sort of an effort, and these turn into friendships. And when you have those kind of friendships in the industry, people want to help their friends out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
On top of that, you don't know where people are going to be. That's something I learned. One show I went to, and they were saying about, I think it might have been Morgan Keys, I think. I think it was him. But anyway, they said that you never know where someone's going to be. They could support, they can get past you, or they could be, you know, you don't know where they're going to be in a year's time. So it's very important to keep up these relationships, man. It's
just vital. Be nice to people, bro.
It's vital. It's actually vital.
Yeah.
So so if you have any stories that you can tell us about, like, where you thought, I'm not going to give up kind of thing, like a never giving up type story.
Honestly, loads, bro. Like, I think from a personal standpoint, before even MAVRO was like an actual company, my first love and my first dream was always to play basketball. That was what I really wanted to do in life. But I had set myself up for scholarships. Like, like everything that you've wanted since you were like 13, 14 was patterned and ready to go. I ended up having an injury, which I feel like everyone that could have played professional sports but couldn't has that same fucking story. But I kind of went through a period of like deep depression because like I couldn't figure out how to now completely switch my life or find a new passion. That was super, super hard. I was bedbound for like 3 or 4 months, and that allowed me time to be like, okay, what do I kind of want to do? I feel like that'd be one thing that life kind of just presented me with, this, like, I could just sit here and be like, all right, cool, we're just gonna have a regular kind of 9 to 5. It is what it is. Like, we tried. But in regards to the actual business, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned in all of this is, like, music and content is so subjective. So even if me or my team think something is so dope, the artist might think it's trash. So you got to be prepared all the time to constantly get, nah, this ain't good enough. Nah, your team's not good enough. You're not experienced enough. You don't, like, it's literally, it's constant. I feel like you hear no way more times than you do hear your yeses. 100%. I would say the biggest challenge that we've had is trying to expand what we've done in the US here in the UK.
Okay.
And the one thing we've noticed a lot of is, because a lot of the stuff has been in the States, a lot of the UK artists or labels haven't had confidence in us to deliver for them, because they feel like we don't understand the UK. But it's all, for me, it's all transferable skills. You know what I mean? I can shoot a pop video, but because we come from the culture, do you get what I'm saying? So it's easy for me to go shoot Daneo. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's once you know how the setup works, it's like, it's cool. But I think, it's just having the belief in yourself and the team that eventually, you know what I mean, you'll get there.
Okay, so help us visualize a younger Alex.
I've always been someone that's been very tunnel visioned. Once I know what I want to do, everything in my life revolves around that, innit? So at 14, 15 was probably when I was just starting to play ball. So, like, you're in school, and my lunch times and my break times, I wouldn't really just be chilling. I'd be in the gym, shooting, practicing whatever I was doing. And then once I was at home, I feel like most kids back then, you're just out. Do you know what I mean? You were playing football, you were playing basketball, regular life, bro. Just like normal, it's just sports. It was just, everything was surrounded by a ball.
All right. Role models. So I know people say their mums, their dads and stuff, but is there anyone else other than your mum and dads that's helped you, or I'm not going to say you've copied or anything like that, but you can use as a role model, basically? Probably
Kobe Bryant and Nipsey.
Okay.
Them two, I would say, are my, like...
Why those two, out of interest?
I think with Kobe, the fearlessness was always something that I just admired. Like, it didn't matter what opponent he come against or what challenges he was facing in his own life. Like, his dedication to the goal was just his main thing. Do you get what I mean? And with Nipsey, I think I was just always, I guess, kind of in awe in his ability to connect with so many people despite their background. Do you get what I mean? And his how passionate he was about delivering gems to just people about how to navigate business, and them kind of gems not just being focused on the music industry. Do you get what I mean? Like, for everyone that's trying to be an entrepreneur, and his again, his dedication to his community and giving back and ensuring, do you know what I mean? In reinvesting in the neighborhoods that he grew up in and shit like that. I think
it's good to see. Definitely. I think a lot more people need to do that, because it's a shame that I can't really think of loads at the top of my head like Nipsey.
No.
We probably should have more, but maybe there is people doing stuff in there, you know, in behind closed doors or whatever, and no one knows about it. But I feel like Nipsey's a big one for a lot of people, to be fair. Man. So, after role models, is there anyone you've actually learned from? Like, for me, for example, I learned a lot from a guy called Simon Sinek. I don't know if you've heard about him. No. Well, you need to.
Okay.
Like, these people like Tony Robbins, these types of people, very similar kind of thing. I learned a lot of things from there. There's a few movies as well. But anyway, for you, what you say you've learned a lot from?
I think my answer to that question would be more people that I actually personally know. Like, I was fortunate enough that from quite an early age, 16, 17, I was able to meet people that have really gone far within the industry that I currently work in, and having those good relationships with them was always a constant learning opportunity for me whenever I was around them, because it gave me a real life insight to what it's like to work in the space that I was trying to get into. In regards to, like, how you should navigate the business, how to network with people, like the way that you need to present, how to actually go about the financial side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So is there any advice you would give to someone that's trying to emulate or trying to do what you've done in music? Well, it could be in life as well. It could be anything, you know. It could be as you know, some people say, even little things like make your bed in the morning, like people say that's a massive thing to be successful. Even little bits like that, little things, little gems that someone could take away today and say, all right, well.
Personally, for me, I find it difficult to answer that question purely because a lot of what I have seen from other people hasn't necessarily worked for me. Okay. I've kind of made a real effort to engulf my life with what I do. So you know how a lot of people will live their life with like, this is my A plan, I have a dream, like cool. But like, just in case that don't work, let me try go to uni to have this to fall back on, or just side hustles or whatever. I've always just tried to keep all of my BCD is related to A.
Okay.
Constantly. Do you get what I mean? Whether that's the group of friends that I choose to go with, or what second revenue streams am I trying to find? Like if A is not working, B still working, but it still means I'm on target for A.
That's actually interesting.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like trying to figure out things like that. If to give more context to that, my main reason for behind doing MAVRO was because at the time I was making music, and that was genuinely all I wanted to do in it, perform, record, whatever. But like most artists, you don't have money, you haven't got a team around you. Like there's a lot of things that you have to do. So I kind of said to myself, right, if I set up a situation where I can earn money providing services for artists, but in return, I then get to use all those services for nothing. So I'm going to need a studio. So let me get myself a studio. I'm going to need videographers. I'm going to need photographers. I'm going to need graphics people. I'm going to need industry contacts. So I went out and did all of those things to eventually come back and be like, ah, cool, now I can use all these for me.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
Very smart. Very smart. It's interesting as well because obviously I've met most of your team. And is it something that were you friends with them before they were in the team, or was it something that you said, oh, go and learn how to do that? And
probably not. Like I would say only my business partner Ed was the only person that I knew before MAVRO was even like a thought in my mind.
Wow.
Everybody else has been, I even met them through projects that we were working on, or had just been introduced to whilst I was making my kind of music journey. And that I'd probably say that was the case until maybe about a year ago, when it was the first time we actually was like, okay, we're gonna hire people. And you know what I mean? Had like people actually applying and shit like that.
That's mad, yeah. That stage, yeah. That is mad.
It was a stressful process. Honestly, like out of everything that we've done, I would say that was the most stressful thing I've ever had to do.
Is it?
It was.
It's even more than actually building, because you built the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just.
Do you know what? The reason I say it's way more than that is because you're building a space with people that you're familiar with. It's your team. Do you get what I'm saying? When you're you already know. I don't even want to call it auditioning, but everyone gasses their CV. Yeah. Everyone hypes it. Like really trying to weave through all the BS to find people that will actually work is hard. Like, and I remember the first time we did it was particularly looking for a social media team. Bro, we had over 10,000 applicants, bro.
You're chatting.
Swear down. Like we had an intern for 3 months just going through CVs.
Rate it.
It was mad. So I'm like, you're cutting that 10,000 down to like, all right, cool, there's 1,000 of like decent people. Then for the decent people, who's actually still available? Because it took us 3.5 months to go through these. It was wild, bro.
10,000.
Bro, it was wild. That was wild.
Mind-boggling. That is mad.
Yeah, bro.
That does sound tricky.
And obviously we cut that number down to about 20.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, about 20 in the end.
And you said that process was 3 months?
About 3.5 months. Just to go through them. After that, it was probably another 2-3 months to set up first vocals, interviews, in-person chats, all of those type of things. It was long.
So yeah, was there ever a time where you can vividly remember someone telling you no and you being like, fuck that, I'm going to do it anyway?
I think the closest thing that I could relate to was one of the first projects that we were working on at the time it was for Rhapsody's first album, when we were doing all the animations for her album. The third song on there that we were working on was the one with Kendrick. We had sent the video off. It was, for us, it was the best work we've ever done in it. So we were like, yeah, they're going to like it, gas, boom, whatever. We sent it and we didn't hear nothing for like 3 weeks. Every time I was sending them emails, you know, you can tell when someone's dodgy, they're skirting you. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, they're starting to regret now that they tied themselves in for 8-9 videos, like, they're not really feeling it, whatever. Because we've had that before. Do you get what I'm saying? You kind of get longed out and then there's some legal bullshit or whatever it was. And I remember I was living with Ed at the time. And I just woke up one morning, I said to him, bro, we need to book a flight to America tomorrow because I feel like we need to go in that office and be like, fam, please watch this video, bro, because I know, do you get what I'm saying? And obviously, luckily, Ed's always been someone that's like, if I have a crazy, like, yeah, fuck it moment, he's like, yeah, cool. If it makes sense, like, let's just do it. So we booked our flight. We literally flew straight to New York the day after, landed, went straight into the meeting, and they hadn't watched it. So I managed to get the people in a room, sit them down, and after watching it, the amount of work that come from that was crazy. They gave us the whole Rock Nation Christmas album to do. We were working on Casanova's videos. Like, it was a shitload of stuff. So in my mind, yeah, I guess I could have definitely just not said nothing and it might have just trickled out into nothing. But I feel like that one move triggered a chain of events that like really kicked it off, to be honest.
Man actually got up and said, fuck it, I'm going to New York. I rate it massively.
So, bro, sometimes you just got to, fam.
Just go and get it, innit?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go and get it.
Yeah.
Out of interest, because not everyone has one.
Yeah.
I don't. My life is very different every single day. But is there anything you do as a daily routine that allows you to be able to do what you do?
I have one that I know works for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult to stick to all the time. Do you know what I mean? It happens.
But with that, with you saying that,
yeah,
do you feel that you'd better yourself if you did it every single day?
Yeah, I feel like my work isn't affected by not having it, but my life balance is definitely affected. So when I'm in my nice daily routine kind of space, it will be me waking up 15-20 minutes just stretching, like a small workout, nothing too crazy, shower up, eat, and I'd like to start working by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I'm pretty much there till like 11, 12 p.m. and then that's a grind. Literally, and then I'll go to sleep by like 2-ish. Like I'll use my like 12 to 2 is like my social time. So like, because again, most of my friends are in the US or whatever, those are the best times for me to call them anyway. So
that's mad. I thought I worked out. Wow. I
don't know, but I've always just been like that. I've been very much the type of person that's like, I have the luxury that if there's things that have to be done, whether, you know what I mean, you're on set, or if my friends just want to do shit, because I do have my own business and we've set it up how we have, I can take that time. But if I ain't got nothing to do, in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck am I not just sitting at home working?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like I could easily stop at 6 or stop at 8, but I'm like, I'm going to stop to do what?
Yeah.
Watch TV.
Watch Netflix.
Do you get what I mean? I'm like, is that really gaining me anything?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not saying that's healthy though. Do you know what I mean? It's really not. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people need a lot more sleep than I usually do just to regularly function. So I'm not saying follow that plan, but he asked me a question.
That's how many hours you sleep for a day?
I'd probably say on average like 6.
Yeah, 6 is
perfect. On average.
This is an interesting one. So what would you be doing if it wasn't for what you're doing now?
I would like to say in an ideal world it would be music, but I think if it weren't, it would be something to do with just connecting people. I feel like that's something that I've always taken pride in, is being able to connect the right people with the right people. So some sort of, do you know what I mean, networking kind of situation. I don't really 100% know. I've never really sat and thought about it like that.
I'm glad you haven't, and I'm glad that you don't, you know, the company's going well, that you're not going to have to ever think about plan B. What if plan B fails and you got plan C?
Plan C.
What, McDonald's?
Listen, if you got to make some money, bro, you just got to make some money. Do you know what I'm saying? I've been fortunate enough where I've only done a little 6-month stint at Sainsbury's. It was the worst time of my life. Serious? But aside from that, honestly, I genuinely don't know, bro. Like from the time that I would say realistically 14, everything I've done has been catered to whatever I was trying to pursue at that time. So I don't even know what Alex, that without either basketball or music, likes.
Yeah, it's true.
Every part of my life is surrounded by those things. I've got no idea, bro. Like real talk. No idea.
That's interesting. So last thing, why do you do what you do? Because like I said about Simon Sinek, he teaches me like I know.
Yeah.
He always mentions it like, he mentions that you always have to have your why. So why do you do what you do?
I think for the 2 reasons. I think something my mum always taught me from young was like, just ensure, regardless of what you're doing, ensure every single day you are happy doing whatever it is in it. And because I knew what my passions are, it's the drive to constantly wake up and be like, cool, I'm excited about whatever the hell I'm about to work on. But aside from that, really and truly, I think it kind of goes back to the conversation we had about Nipsey. I'm sure there's loads of people doing everything they can do for their communities, but our culture, we don't see that a lot. Or it's kind of like surface bullshit for IG, or do you know what I mean? It's not really, you're not really out here doing what you can do. And I think for me, it was, I don't even know how this is going to come across, but I wanted to be someone that people from a regular ass background, do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't come from money. No one gave me no fat loan to start the business with. You know what I mean? You can really go out there and achieve whatever you put your mind to, as long as you don't fucking quit. Like, just wanted to try and be a source of inspiration to people, that be like, cool fam, if you don't have a setup, make the setup.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? That, and having that mentality.
I hope it's good that you said that as well, because it's kind of how Neverland is actually supposed to be. Like, how you're supposed to take it in is like, never give up, never stop striving for your dreams.
Like, in reality, you might have 1,000 artists that are all trying to make it in music. Half of those are shit, so they're not going to. So you're competing against 500. Out of those 500, another half of those people don't have the circumstance that allows for it. Do you know what I mean? They've either got kids, or they have to work, or whatever it is. Boom. So now you're competing against 250. Out of those 250, at least half of those will just purely give up. We're now at 125. After you're 125, again from there, not enough people take ownership in learning the necessary skills to take them from just being normal to boom. So really and truly, when you sit here and you think about this world that everyone's trying to make it, who you're actually competing against is not that many people, bro.
Yeah.
In reality.
It's true.
And I feel like that takes away a lot of the fear from, like, oh my God, everyone's trying to do this. How do I be seen? Just stick at it.
100%.
Focus on, like, being better than you was prior, you know what I mean, the last year. That's all I really try to look at. Like, if I can wake up morning of 1st of January 2019 and be like, alright, cool, am I in a better position than January 1st, 2018? I'm in the right direction.
So yeah, check him out on the old Instagram.
Yeah,
I know what it is, please, guys.
It's MAVRO Worldwide on Instagram. MAVRO Worldwide Studios is the studio spaces that we have. Or my personal one is ALEXANDROS SARAFIS.
Say that again?
Well, it's actually ALEXANDROS.SARAFIS. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or want to know anything, or you're trying to get into certain shit, like, definitely DM me, because it's, I mean, I've got time.
I made that on the Nipsey thing.
No, the Nipsey thing.
My guy, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
G. I appreciate you, bro.
And yeah, episode 1.